Off-road, even a Hummer can't hold a candle to this vehicle. This is the true king of the off-road world, the Unimog. Unimog is an acronym for Universal Motorgerät, universal being the important bit. For over 50 years, the Mercedes Unimog epitomizes the stolid, solid, four-wheel-driven workhorse. In these tough economic times, Unimog also stands for the past glories of the Wirtschaftswunder, Germany's post-war economic miracle, quality made in Germany. Top of the range, the U5000, a 12-ton, 218 horsepower battleship. They used to say you can go everywhere in a Unimog as long as you're not in a hurry. This one doesn't seem all that slow. The current generation has been in production since 2002, but these things have been around for ages. The first one was built in 1948, acquiring the famous Star in 1951. The early models, with 25 horsepower and an open driver's cab, gamely lugged timber through the forests of post-war Germany. Over the next few decades, Mercedes expands the Unimog range with bigger, more powerful models. These cross-country wonders have proved their mettle all over the world in the roughest terrain. It's the famous German engineering, of course. The Unimog's amazing off-road mobility is down to torsion force, achieved by a flexible ladder-type frame. Two U-shaped chassis beams connected by lateral pieces of tubing. Simple but effective. Engine, gearbox and cab are three-point mounted, so they remain unaffected by the articulation. Portal axles with good ground clearance and coil springs with progressive characteristic line allow for maximum axle articulation in off-road situations, important in terms of traction and really important in terms of getting anywhere. There are more cross-country prerequisites for huge wheels, compact dimensions, all-wheel drive with differential locks front and rear. Due to the non-rigid frame, the vehicle survives even the most challenging off-road situations unscathed. Notice the angle between the cab and the rest of the body. More than 50% of all Unimogs ever built are still out there somewhere doing their jobs. Because of its versatility, wherever all-wheel drive is a must, there's a Unimog in action. The gear reduction system means you can crawl along at 0.1 kilometers an hour without having to work the clutch. Use it as a highly efficient tractor unit. Just hitch it up and haul whole trains. Or just use it as a super agile articulated lorry. Or operate all sorts of additional equipment via PTO shaft. Unimog off-road test site in Oettichheim. We want to see just how far you can go with a modern Unimog, so we make it go up some very steep stairs. For the U4000, that's like taking a walk in the park.
We'll go down the 80% now in first gear. Clutch, all-wheel, differential lock, give minimal support with motor and foot brakes.
Cue for the co-driver to hold on tight. It's 15 meters downhill.
If you're not used to this or you've never done it before, you get a bit of a queasy feeling. I suppose they might worry, will they get down in one piece?
Stop halfway down and go back up again in reverse. No sweat. The Unimog seems to rate this 80% incline as harmless. Now for the ultimate test, a 45-degree gradient or 100% uphill grade. The Unimog gets stuck in. Easy thanks to pneumatically selectable all-wheel drive and automatic tire pressure monitor. Admittedly, this only works in perfect conditions, provided by the test site, bone-dry tarmac, slightly roughened up to give better grip. In rainy weather, the Unimog doesn't stand a chance. Blocks of concrete more than half a meter high, placed right and left at staggered intervals. We go into all-wheel drive mode. Suddenly the front wheel goes into a spin.
Choose the right gear, differential lock, and then into first gear to clear the obstacle.
Locked front and rear differentials get the lorry out. Of course, the test site obstacles happen to be the exact dimensions of the Unimog axle's articulating capabilities. Nature, however, doesn't come Unimog-sized. Away from the test site, things soon get more difficult. Locks off, disengage all wheel based on torque and RPM, the electro-pneumatically controlled gearbox works out which gear it should go in next. Now we are talking the ultimate roller coaster scenario. A Unimog will stand like a rock at 38-degree angle, independent of conditions, dry or wet. There isn't the slightest risk of it toppling over, even though a passenger would just have to reach out to touch the water's surface. 177 diesel-fueled horsepower and 675 Newton-meters of torque are generated by the U4000's four-cylinder 4.2-litre engine. There are also 8 forward gears and 6 reverse. When fording, there's no choking at depths up to 1.2 meters thanks to a snorkel. The enormous pressure the vehicle's chassis is under as it's crossing the wall clearly demonstrates just how articulated the frame is. One more staggering fact, the price. Mercedes technology doesn't come cheap. You have to pay something in the region of 100,000 euros for a U5000, depending on purpose and additional equipment. You'll save money by being able to drive parallel to the Autobahn, though. Avoid paying the HGV charge.